venue is all about the blue economy. We are very happy to have with us the team of InnoAgora and especially the participants, which is Panteli Theoni, head of the Department of Entrepreneurship, Blue Growth and Maritime Affairs of the Municipality of Piraeus, the port of the central port of Greece, and Nektaria Marava, who is a communication manager of the startup Piraeus, and Yannis Kalogiru, Emeritus Professor of Economics of Technology and Industrial Strategy of National Technological University of Athens, and the Scientific Director of the Blue Innovators of Piraeus. We will be very happy to start with Theoni and being very quick on the subject and put the perimeter of the discussion around what is blue economy. And if you allow me to go ahead with her presentation. And Theoni, I think that this is
Okay.
your presentation, correct?
Yeah, it's small so that not to be too complicated, but to give the
Please go ahead.
idea
Please
of
go
the
ahead.
blue economy. With the blue
I have to
economy,
remind you that the session, sorry for this. I have to remind you that the session will be recorded, is recorded already. So it's mandatory to state it. So please go ahead, Theoni.
Okay. This is the European definition about blue economy and blue growth. Upon its our municipality of Piraeus based and did the blue growth strategy that we are following as a strategic and for which we have all these actions that are across the municipalities. What is essential to know and what is essential to understand is that it's not something just one thing. It is all sectoral, cross-sectoral economic activities that based or relate to the ocean seas coasts. This is essentially to understand that it's a big one. It has to do with all the activity that is around the sea and in the sea. This definition gives us that this includes all these activities and what is essential to see that how many people actually be involved in these activities and how much are the gross added value about city and the European Union generally. As you can see, there is a million jobs that are referred to. It's 4 millions 55 hundreds, and what there's also the gross GVA, and how important is about the transportation of the goods around the world, because Piraeus is essential. It has the fourth seat of European ports and has also the top seat in the list of own shippers. So that's why, if you can go to the next slide, please. The municipality of Piraeus started to has this essential aspect about blue growth in strategy. And after 2014, had a schedule in order to be a strategy about 2018 until now. And because we had a vision, and the vision is to become an innovative, competitive, and reliant center for and organization for blue economy, because we are a port city, and what we want is to support all the people, and especially new ones and new businessmen that want to have activity in the sea and related to it. And what is essential also is to have the aspect of sustainability that is required from the European Union, because we are related to this, and we preserve and the values of the United Nations and the European Union in our city. In this, upon this vision and upon this strategy, we have actions, measures that we take under the 5 priority axes. And this is a big one, and I want to make more analyzed, but I want to refer that we have already supported more than 50 startups in these 2 years, and we go on to support upon other actions that we have in order to help them.
Only very quick question. In plain thematology, blue economy is not only tourism, is not only sustainability, is not only fisheries. Please, I mean, tell us, with few words, how many sectors very quickly you tackle by saying the word blue economy before you continue, please.
Yes. There are many, because as I said, there are the traditional activities that the next speaker is going to tell more analytical. But there are traditional sectors that it's upon 5 or 7, but there is also and other activities that are related to these basic activities. So there we have the traditional, we have the upcoming sectors with marine target, and also we have the support ones upon these activities. This is all blue economy, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Go ahead. Yes, please.
So and now, to answer then more specifically, the related economic activities that support the main activities, it's it has no number. It's from the food until the fuels and all this, as you can understand.
Okay, thank you. Shall I change slide or continue with this?
There is a slide with my name, and if you want someone to contact with me, or that I have all my my email. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. We continue with John Calogero. Dear Professor John, give me 1 second to put your slide on, and I think that we continue with your presentation, very quick presentation, and I'm sure that hang on a second, please. Yes. I just put it now on the air. Okay. Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank you very much for inviting me in this very interesting series of talks. And I would be very, very, very happy to focus on the type of ecosystem for blue innovation which is emerging, and in particular the educational institutions and other stakeholders how they collaborate and how they can create a supportive ecosystem for blue innovation. And we'll emphasize very much on the role of coaching and mentoring of would-be entrepreneurs. So the next, please. Next slide, please.
Can you see?
No, I have
Yes,
to.
but yes, but it's not on presentation mode, Mr. Papageorgiou.
Sorry.
Just
Okay.
Okay.
I have to
Fine,
enable editing. And,
Yes. So
yeah, can you see it now? Yeah.
I think that a major prerequisite in order to have good results and new startups and new activities is how you can build a well-functioning blue innovation ecosystem in Piraeus. One first observation is that we are talking about a co-creation of a joint sectoral and territorial ecosystem. As you know, for all the systemic phenomena like the one we are promoting now, the blue innovation, we need to have different types of systems, innovation systems. So one is the sectoral systems, which relates to what the activities that were mentioned before by Mrs. Panteli. And of course, we need also to focus on the territorial, let's say, the dimension of this innovation system, which is the greater area of Piraeus, and which is very important because it has specific characteristics, as also it was already mentioned. So we need somehow in parallel to co-create this joint sectoral and territorial ecosystem. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but I have a problem.
Okay,
yes.
Go ahead.
Usually when we study a type of a new ecosystem or an existing ecosystem, we need to, first of all, to identify the driving forces and the building blocks. Starting from the building blocks, which are the main actors and existing, but also new actors coming, emerging players, activities. It was mentioned also in the previous presentation, and of course stakeholders, because the stakeholders are very important either in order either to promote or to say that there are barriers and this cannot proceed anymore. Perhaps sometimes are right, sometimes are not. A new also very important dimension is also the so-called mission-oriented innovations. This term, this concept was firstly introduced after the Apollo journey to the moon in the 60s, because many of the let's say types of either of processes or products were the basis were this mission. So now the mission has changed. Of course, it is climate change and climate crisis, and also the digitization of the economy and society. So the concept of mission-oriented is very important because you have to coordinate a lot of activities and a lot of players and actors, either from the public sector or the private sector or other non-governmental institutions. Then you have to identify the processes. Which processes are on the ground, and of course the value chains, something very important. Let's say the importance of value chains were very much understood during the polycrisis, as we call it, the pandemic, the globalization, deglobalization, etc. So you have to identify value chains and to support for starting those that are on the territory of Greece and Piraeus, or even some others that are not there, but they have connections and links. For example, in the shipping industry, London was a place for the concentration of many firms in shipping industry. The support mechanism. This is very important because in order for such a very important and let's say very in a way difficult project or vision or mission, you need to have a good support mechanism and to appreciate and transfer the experience that comes out from these activities. The next, please, next slide, please. Okay. One of the issues that we have identified in this type of building innovation systems are the university-industry collaboration. Especially, it is very important nowadays because the themes and the knowledge that is required is in a way very important in order for these systems to function and operate in order to have some of the results that we expect from all this journey. First of all, we need to clarify the sources of innovation. Some people think that innovation is something almost rocket science. In fact, of course, rocket science, as I mentioned before, is very important, but and others, for example, advanced biology, biotechnology, or anti-pollution technologies, but also practical knowledge is very important. And especially when you have to deal with, for example, this is a more, not only for Piraeus, but also for the whole Greek economy, you have a lot of very, very small firms and very little of a certain size. So then, but you have a lot of practical knowledge, which is knowledge that is produced through solving day-to-day problems, either within the organization or within the people that are the professionals that are working with the firms or participating in advancing the vision of the firms or the mission. So innovation comes from different sources, and we have to be very, let's say, supportive for also for forms of innovation that are not related only to science. The other thing is that innovation, the idea, many people say we have a very good idea and then we can proceed. This is not true, and sometimes people get very anxious that things do not move on. So we need also some force to drive all this process, and one of these forces are the importance of innovative knowledge intensity entrepreneurship. This is a concept that appeared and study that appeared at the late 2010 and after 2010, during, let's say, the crisis period, that not any form of entrepreneurship can contribute to this process of university-industry collaboration, but mostly those knowledge intensive entrepreneurship, knowledge intensive in terms of the people that are engaged in this venture, the type of processes that are there, and the products that they produce. Another very important in this direction is skills and capabilities are very important. Perhaps you read in the press, and many of you know, that, for example, in the Greek economy, there is a mismatch of skills and capabilities. That means that there is no, let's say, congruence between what skills are, let's say, developed in the universities and even in the firms through internal training, and what is needed from the market. So this is something also very important, and you should focus on that in order to proceed. Now, another prerequisite is, of course, some money. Perhaps you are familiar with the concept of the Valley of Death. This concept was developed in the US, stating that now, after the World War II, the federal state in the US supports very much the research, inventions in the research, etc. But sometimes a very good, for example, research cannot be valorized because of the lack of money. For example, in the market, they don't appreciate at that stage the value that is coming from this research. So a guy from the Academy of Engineering, he said, yes, we have a valley of death. We have money till some point, and then when you go to valorize these results, we cannot do it because they are not, for example, seed capital or early seed capital. The same, of course, happens in countries like Greece. But on the other side, money are not, of course, money is needed, but funding is not enough. In this case, you need coaching and mentoring because in the past, entrepreneurship was a matter of some people that were very taking risks, very important, the individual entrepreneur. Now we are talking after the 90s, especially we are talking about a team and a group that sets up a venture and a process and a strategy in order to promote the production of the product, the use of a new process, organizational changes, etc. So money is needed, but funding is not enough. Coaching and mentoring should be promoted and strongly related to funding. We had this also experience during the last years in Greece when many of us in different universities, in the National Technical University of Athens, in the other universities, Thessaloniki, in the Kapodistrian National University of Athens, others, Piraeus University, for example, or the Athens University for Economics and Business. All these people have worked very hard, and this is a good message that during the last 40 years, the Greek teams from all these universities have been very active and successful in getting support from the European Union, not only support that is provided because of the cohesion and all these, which are very important, but I'm not mentioning that. I'm mentioning those about the European research area through the framework programs. Perhaps most of you know about the framework programs and the Horizon programs there. So this is something that is very, very important. But of course, if you don't have a strong, let's pool of trainers that should be available and the people that can act as coaches or as mentoring, there is a distinction, not very clear always between coach and mentor. The coach is somebody who is usually much younger and who is usually, for example, for a university, is somebody who was a graduate from this university, and he can stay in the side of these teams, of these groups, and support them for in their, let's say, daily attempt to set up at the end a knowledge intensive entrepreneurship. But also there are the mentors. The mentors are some more, let's say, experienced people that have also perhaps a high position in the business world or in other places, and he can support and consult the people of these groups, of these teams, how to move on in several markets or in how to get better funding, etc. And of course, we need to somehow understand that in terms of funding, which is of course important, but it's not enough. There are different types of support for new ventures. Of course, venture capital is one, but and some groups now in Greece try to, let's say, have a monocore, but these are very few. We were also very much interested in the majority of firms that can be upgraded organizationally, technologically, and in business terms. So early seed capital sometimes is very important, but also other forms of funding. That's it for now, because I think I had more than the time that was arranged in the beginning, but I believe that this opens an agenda for all these things, and we will have the opportunity also to discuss it with the people in Piraeus and in other places. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, John. I mean, we had a question from the audience very quickly. I mean, being in the university, also having the experience as a general secretary of the industrial sector some time ago, do you feel that you can bring the big industry players together to mentor the startups on this sector of the blue economy? Do you provide them this link of the corporate VCs? I mean, do you have big industry labs that they can take under their arms, the efforts of startups to foster them to grow bigger?
Sometimes it happens.
And some examples, perhaps.
Yes. It's a very good question. Sometimes it happens, as you said, that at some point, and this happens not only in Greece but also across the world, that at some point the big company who is interested in this type of innovation and products, processes, and all this makes an offer which cannot a young group, for example, say, no, we're going alone. But during the process of coaching and mentoring, for example, as I know from my university, but not only, I have discussed it also with colleagues in other universities, the key thing is to find out graduate people from these universities, because this also happens not only in Greece, but also in the US or in other places. But in Greece, it is many people think, and this is good, that they are loyal to their university. They think that if they had a good career, this mainly was, let's say, related to that they had a good study, a good, let's say, to the university from whom they have graduated or they did postgraduate. And we had formed pools of these people that had a good relationship with the group, the teams. The thing is that we need to talk about teams and not only somebody. Individual, let's say, entrepreneurship is not as feasible and as helpful or as efficient and effective as it was in the past. Now you need a group, because technology also is very complex and it has many dimensions. Business the same. There are many different types of people. For example, some is very good for managing the whole venture. Others are good for communication. Some others are for marketing. Some are deep technologists and researchers. They know that and they don't care very much of what happens outside their laboratory, etc. So yes, we can find these people, and if we have also some successful, as we had during the last 1 or 2 years, that there were some teams that at the end, because one criteria is what happens during the first 3 years, because some of the people either get disappointed, even good researchers, especially good researchers, because they are very active in another market, the market of research, and they have funds coming, as I said, most for this are mostly from the European Union, but in competitive terms, and others that, of course, do not succeed because nobody guarantees that what you say will at the end up with a new type of entrepreneurship, etc. So, but yes, we can find people that are standing by these teams and contribute to the success of these teams.
Thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you, John. Nectaria, would you like to take the lead now? I upload your small deck. I don't know if you can see it.
Yes, it's okay. I can see it. Thank you.
Okay.
I think I will start with the last question. I cannot just skip it. This one. I will start with the last question about if the big companies are collaborated with universities and municipalities in supporting startups or would-be entrepreneurs. Actually, the startup of Piraeus is doing exactly that because it's a collaboration between the University of Piraeus. So we have mentors from the University of Piraeus and the University of Thrace. We have mentors from the industries as well in our team, and we have actually collaborated. We've been in close collaboration. This is an initiative taken by the municipality of Piraeus. So we have actually a triple quarter of Helix all together trying to boost the innovation of blue economy in the wider area of the Piraeus. So I think Theron has spoken about that, why blue economy, why innovation in blue economy. So, okay, the one thing that's quite crucial is about the million of jobs that we anticipate that will be doubled up to 2030. The other key issue is that we found that the pandemic, some of the traditional blue sectors like the tourism was not so resilient. So we have to think about new strategies in order to have the traditional sectors not to be quite resilient during another shock, a different shock. And if you can go on, please, if you can change the light. Okay, I will change the light a bit quickly because I have a lot,
yes,
so
please.
I'm going to
yes,
change
please.
a bit. Okay, so here is why. Here's the sectors of blue economy as discussed before. I've already said with you in the chat this image. Why is important? Because besides the traditional sectors, for example, the aquaculture or the fishing, we have of the tourism for marine services. Now there are emerging new ones due to an effort to put the blueness, the you said, into in the green. That means in order to avoid the overexploitation of the sea, to use and imagine ways of using the sea not as we have used to till now. For example, a concept that's quite familiar in use, how we can multi-use the sea in order to coexist uses between tourism, for example, and wind, floating wind energy or floating solar or fishing. It's something something's going on discussion in Europe. Please go on. Please go on to the next. The next slide is about the key priorities. Blue sector is crucial about the green and the digital transition. This is a key point. That's here is some key ideas of new youth about where to focus in blue economy, and these key priority blue sectors are prioritized not from us, not from the startup Piraeus, but prioritized from European organization and Blue Invest. Blue Invest is a community form leading the blue investment and the blue investors towards 2030. and that's crucial, something we can see. All of these 10 actually emerging sectors of blue economy are both face challenges and opportunities, but as I always say, that challenges and opportunities as well. So if you can see that something is challenge, you can always transform it to opportunity, and this is an opportunity for you to invest, to come up an idea. Last but not least, so I will give you some key ideas about some challenges or opportunities as I see. Please go on a bit quickly because I have a lot of presentation. For example, in maritime transport, we said that, okay, we know that around of 19% of traded goods are transported via ocean, and we know that 30% of global emissions that something we have to reduce are coming from this ocean shipping. This is a challenge, but also an opportunity. You have to think about the green shipping, the green ports. And we have in startup periods some startups that have been quite successful because they find this is an opportunity for us to build a port and grow something new. I'm going to take later on. Another one is how the science and technology will play a crucial role in developing what we need today about sustainable blue ocean economy. So, for example, we can use a physical sensor, we can use satellite technology, you can use advanced materials, we can use ICT technologies for collecting data. You can use subsea engineer. You can have a lot of new ideas. Here in Piraeus, I think that's quite crucial to bridge all together, to bridge all the actors together, either universities, either industries, either the municipality or the employers' organization, or even citizens, in order to form what we call, and we're trying to do, as Mr. Kalogio says, the blue clustering of economy, the cluster of blue economy in Piraeus. This is not easy. Something has been started a lot of years ago, but we're continuing to do so. But this is absolutely with our result, Blue Innovators. So that's another initiative for municipality of Piraeus has recently trying to find, sorry for the Greeks in the chat, they're trying to find how was the increase of municipality in the sub-regional area of Piraeus, the number of enterprises related to blue economy. This was not an easy work, as you can see, because we don't have actually quite specific terminology of the sectors that are related to other traditional or emerging blue sectors, but mostly these here are work out in the traditional ones. What was quite expressing is that we're still growing, we're still growing quite fast. And please go on to the next slide. And the most important sector, it's not a surprise for us, is the maritime sector, the maritime transport, of course, because of the port of Piraeus. So everything suggests that there is a local opportunity that has been growing and been maturing during from back to 2012, when we first spoke about blue growth. And the municipality of Piraeus has the first one who spoke about, has drafted a blue strategy back in 2014. So one key initiative of this strategy was the Startup Piraeus initiative. We have our first call for beneficiaries back in 2021, now have closed. Up to now have a lot of successes and failures as well, but we're going to discuss it a bit more. How is different? It's not different. I think that the only difference is that, okay, you have a person, have an accelerator that's supported by the local authority, that's supported by local industry, that's supported by the local clusters. That's the difference from the other clusters that's around. And you have embarked a lot about personalized approach in mentoring, personalized approach in communication, personal approach in everything, in networking, in everything. So whoever who have a local incubator, because we have free of space, we have mentorship, as Mr. Kalogiros talked before, have found that the local entrepreneurs or the regional entrepreneurs lack a lot of the knowledge needed in order to go on with what's going on in Europe and in other parts of the world about blue economy. So have them training about that, have them a library about blue economy, have a lot what actually offered them to each of them what's actually need. Okay, this is our numbers. We can go on. It's not so important. We can also go on. What is important is that our success stories, for example, we have different success stories. We have success stories that they needed space, they have the know-how from, this is the company that you can see now, because they have the know-how, they have quite good researchers, they've done a lot, but they don't have the space. The other one is, okay, they have, again, the know-how, but they don't have the links they wanted to be known in the local market, the national and regional market. So this company did something else from the first one. So what we're trying to do is try to see this company. Okay, I forgot this. They have the know-how, they have some liquors, the local market, but they don't have liquors, the national market that they need. So we're trying to send them to the national expeditions in order to be known globally. What we're trying to, our approach in startup project, I think our approach is that innovation thrives on collaboration. And we have done it, organized a lot of network events. I don't remember how much, maybe Theoni knows better than me, but a lot of them that have co-organized with different actors and trying to see, trying to understand what every actor needs. And this networking effort was not only locally, because should not be all locally. We are trying to organize in different levels, locally, regionally, nationally, the national. For example, this is locally, but it was taken a national event, a phase of event. That's the Blue Growth Bureaus. Theoni will probably discuss about the next phase. So I think, because as Mr. Kalogios, I like to read a lot about innovation and how innovation happened. I think this is something that's quite old, but I think it's very fascinating now, because we live in a multi-dynamic and multi-change world. So I think we don't think that we'll have a brilliant idea, okay, let's go to a startup or let's go to accelerator and we're going to get success. No, we're not going to be success. We need a lot of effort, we need a lot of grit, and we think, both of us that working as a mentors, but that entrepreneurs as well, to change our attitude. We don't think about, it was not, behave like a rain, as I say, to react to everything negatively, to assume that everything is going to happen very quickly, but to have, or to insist and not to listen to the others, and to be closing down and say no to any idea, either based by mentor or us, other heard by wood entrepreneurs. And what we need to do is to be the sign. The sun, if you go next to the next, is to support, to encourage, to understand, to listen to the ideas, and help them grow. This is go both of the sides. We have both of the sides to build the sun. That's from me. Hopefully, I'm not very. I've left the time for the question as well. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Marava. Can you hear us?
Yes, yes.
You are doing, all of you are doing an excellent job. I have a question that is directed to everyone. What advice would you give to startups looking to venture in the blue economy based on your experience?
Do you think I can start?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Now the advice. I don't think that I'm the right person to give advice. From my experience, though, I think that they have to communicate the idea a lot. The first thing they have to do, they have to communicate the idea a lot. The second they have to do is to network a lot. I think everyone will be to say so, because the third they have to do is to agree that they're not going to be successful as soon as possible. They have to understand that this process is not take from here to up to 3 years. Maybe it takes more than 3 years in order to be successful. And okay, I'll say I leave the floor because I have to speak a lot. Okay.
I want to add something.
Yes, please.
Okay, for the two first, I said Nectaria, communicate, and networking. I think Piraeus is the place that you can do it, because there are the support that we're running free for the people that are like to do it. We are in public that we cooperate with Kalogiru, Nectaria, and all these people that we made all this through.
Yes, Mr. Kalogiru, go ahead.
Yes. Okay. First of all, I agree with the comments made by the two previous ladies, Leonia and Nectaria, but I would like to say something, in my view, let's say not exactly advices. I believe that it is not exactly an advice, but an encouragement. First of all, they have to understand, the new people, that it is a journey, the whole thing, not very easy journey. You have to work hard, but one of the great, you have not to be disappointed if you fail. Failure should be considered, first of all, as a learning experience. Second, even if you cannot succeed to set up at the end a corporation that it is, let's say, very successful, etc. If you go, for example, to work for an existing firm, either new firm, either small firm or medium firm or big firm, the knowledge and the mindset that you have after following this journey, it would be very, very useful for you and for the people that hired you. So this is something, it does matter to have this experience, especially if you are in every field, I mean, but especially if you are in the technical engineering field or the business studies or managerial studies, etc., or in agriculture or whatever. It is very important to have an experience based on your whole venture, let's say, creation, new venture creation. Now, feedback also is very important, because sometimes some people, because coming from research and the laboratory, they try to have the perfect solution. This does not apply, because you have to take into consideration that this wood should go somehow in some form, either as a product or as a process in the market, and there you have somehow to come closer and fit with the needs of these people, of the people that are consumers, that are users, etc. So don't hesitate to go to the market, and you have to cover not only the local market. Of course, there are a lot of things that you can have a good, let's say, prospect, but also in the European market, or even in the global market. And we have some type of this. And the last one, it was mentioned, I think, by Nectaria and Theonia, about the importance of networking. Networking is very, very important, because I think you need to interact. Innovation is interacting and the product of interaction. But don't forget also the users. You need to have also somehow an understanding how the users make, especially if they are big companies, business to business, etc. you have to understand very well how do they behave and what are their needs. Thank you.
For example, if I may, have during the Blue Growth competition, we have different participants that compete each other, but after the event, they actually collaborate. So that's the power of networking.
Very good point, competition and collaboration. This is a wise strategy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
So one last question, because we do not have much time ahead of us. Based on your experience, how would you evaluate the current state of the blue economy in Greece in comparison to other EU countries or in the Mediterranean?
We are very proud that we have these characteristics and the connection with sea, because one of the aspects of European Union and generally global is climate change. That means that they give value to the green. In this aspect, green we have in the sea. So we have a difference with others because it's very central to understand that we are sustainable also in the sea. So the blue has an essential value for the good of all.
Okay.
If I understand, if I answer your question.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Mr. Kalogiru?
Yes. I think that one of the, let's say, driving forces in history about innovation or about new types of firms or transformation, economic and technological transformation, is the culture of growth and what type of culture for growth you have. And if you have also a tradition, you need first of all to see how this tradition, which is in Greece is very important, and is for generations. We had the people dealing with this blue economy without knowing that we should call it at some point blue economy. Anyhow, so I believe this is an asset that is very important, and we need also, but also we need to develop it in the new era and to promote the new era, because there they have new challenges, new problems, but it is very important that people everywhere in Greece, in the islands and also in other places, they have, let's say, a culture for growth, and they have a mindset that is very much related to all these things.
Nectaria, would you like to add? Because we have one more question.
Oh, okay, very quickly, just to say that even in numbers, at the European level, Greece, some Greece sectors like the aquaculture goes very well after the pandemic. Not tourism, okay, I'm not talking about this thing, it's quite good. But what I think is that we have potential, as Mr. Kalogiris said, we have not yet recognized. For example, is the maritime other water culture heritage that you can see. We have tried to do something with one of our startups that is going to produce art reefs in marine space for tourist attraction. That's quite popular in other parts of the globe, but it's going to be now in Greece as well. We're quite innovative about nowadays. It is a high priority in policy agenda in Greece about the renewable energy, especially in Austrian, in different ways. I'm not going to talk about that because it's a huge issue of this. So I think yes, we have high potential, but we need to be organized. And I think what is missing in blue economy is that we don't have not actually provided yet the marine special planning in Greece. We have a plan that's not really endorsed yet. So that's the point.
Okay.
This is very important that Nectaria mentioned before, and I would like to recall a project that was conducted in the early, after the crisis, the big crisis of 2008-2009, in the beginning of 2010, the second decade of this century, how you can, let's say, bring together people from broader, not just an industry, but broader sectors. And there was a project there with our group in the university participated with many others, and also people from different places, from the academia, for the business, from the public administration, etc. One of these broader, let's say, value chains and broader sectors was tourism and the food industry. For example, many of the foods and the products that people coming from in Greece as a tourist, they like very much the type of drinks or wine or other things. So if you establish a link between agriculture, the food industry, and let's say manufacturing of different types of food, etc., then the tourism and the hosting, let's say, industry, and promote these products in the let's say supermarkets in different, for example, European countries, then you have starting from Greece, a value chain which is European and which can give a lot of feedback, but also a lot of money, because people that like this, when they go to back to home, they want to somehow taste it or let's say demonstrate it to other people in their let's say friends, families, etc. So this would be a kind of value chain that can be in a way established, and I believe that this is doable.
We have one last question, and thank you for your time. According to your experience, what kind of financial tool would be mostly needed for Greek startups to be eligible and able to think about prospering on the blue economy sector? Since we will be in a discussion with the respective ministry, we will come back to you, of course, for your advice, but still many people on this audience may be having the experience of using different kind of tools with good or nasty experience. So we don't know what's your experience behind it. For example, do you prefer equity? Do you prefer a combination of loan and equity? Do you believe that don't restrict myself on your mind and your mind from myself or what I say, but please feel free for a couple of seconds or minutes. Please go ahead.
Sorry.
No, okay.
I think one type, there should be several types. One type which is very important, especially for either very new teams coming or from people that are in the university, etc., is the so-called early seed capital. Even if they get a small amount, they can perhaps overcome the value of death, as I said. This is one type. The second type is if you enter early to the market and let's say promote this not only the idea but also the implementation of this idea to several bigger firms, for example, perhaps as we mentioned at some point in our discussion today, and this should, for example, recently in the last 2-3 years, there were some competitions among people from the universities in entrepreneurship and innovation entrepreneurship. Some of them then said they were giving something, for example, just in order to an award that would make happy the people that went to this competition. But others, and this is the most important, the award was not just have 2,000 euros or something, but also, for example, going for training to a big company. And I have some examples in Greece, or if it is a company which has a mother in other mother company in other places, for example, to go to their lab or test. For example, there was a group from Demokritio University in Xanthi that they produced, but they have come to our, let's say, incubator. They produced a device that could measure in big areas, for example, in an industrial factory, or in a places where there is sports, or in a places where there music or whatever, a device that can give measure at the time that the event takes place the quality of the air, which is very important, especially now with all this that happens with not only COVID, but also other. It is very important. And the thing is that the company that was, let's say, organizing with the university this conquest, let's say, proposed to use this device for 6 months in their factory in Patras, which was this. And we had a lot of good. So I believe we need sometimes mixed awards, some funding, but also some, which is very, very important. You can get more money by going there, and you don't have to repay it. This is a very important as well. So perhaps you need a matrix, let's say, with some different sources of funding. But at some point, you need also this type of support. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, I think we totally agree with Mr. Kalogioudo that we need a blended finance. And from what I experience with startups, they don't actually know. That's a crucial point, that they don't actually know where to go in order to go the funding, either in loan, either in a bond or something like that. So there is a missing point about the information they have to acquire about that. So I think I totally agree. And we have discussed it a lot with Ms. Theoni about that the public should, of course, maybe in the future create something I call blue coupons that's related just for the enterprises or startups in blue sustainable economy, maybe. Because I know they have the green bonds or the sustainable bonds, but maybe we can. This is a proposal, something we're dreaming or discussed during the the brainstorming in the municipality of Piraeus about what should happen in after 2 or 3 decades. So we're discussing something like blue coupons, the funding from the public authorities to social enterprise, so startup enterprises in doing that. Okay, this is an idea.
I also want to
yes,
say that I agree totally about the combination of the funding. This is that all we agree. And I think European Union is upon this value.
And there is a note here from one of our guests that strategies, a maritime center of excellence, which is a private, I think, non-for-profit organization, Greek company, is offering, innovation coupons to Greek agronomy SMEs, and this is another extra help on the potential of the sector. Right. Yeah.
Really.
Please feel free to ask some more questions because we don't have so much time ahead of us. We are very happy to post and reply, but still, I mean, the emails and the contact persons, the contact details of the persons who are presented here, of course, as the presentations are to your disposal. And of course, the recording of the venue will be posted on InnoAgora, which is the platform through which the session takes place. I see no further questions. I don't know if Theoni, you wish, or Nectaria and Yannis to add something more.
I am very happy, and I hope the ladies are very happy of being in this
Yes.
very well 1 hour talk.
We were very happy to host you here, and we said that there will be the series A, let's say, of the venues, because Blue Economy
Okay.
cannot stop in one session. And
Okay.
we will be delighted to have you invited more times here. And yeah, by the way, we
I want
host.
also,
Yes, please go ahead.
yes, I want also to add that how essential and is the synergy with different sectors and different organizations so that we have a good result.
Yes.
Exactly. That's
Okay.
why we're here. That's why we're here. We do host a pitching event on the blue economy by the end of the month, and the month is dedicated to blue anyway for us. But we will keep you posted on more venues. So we have to thank you really dearly for being with us today, and Yannis, Nectaria, and Theoni, and
Have a
and your
good afternoon.
participants. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.